Welcome to another discussion organized as part of the Nila International Folklore Film Festival. Today, we are going to discuss the beautiful animation film titled Amepa, directed by Shikpa Shekhar Davle. Amepa is a lovely film set in a picturesque village in Northeast India. Here, the filmmaker takes inspiration from the community-based conservation practices of the Idu Mishmi tribe and made a tale out of their folk stories. Unfortunately, the filmmaker has inconvenience to attend today's session. However, to discuss the film, we have an amazing animator, Swati Agarwal. To host this event, we have Srivastav Charupu, who is a writer and a storyteller. Srivastava is pursuing his MDes in animation at IDC School of Design, IIT Bombay. Swati Agarwal is an alumnus of IDC School of Design and creator of amazing films such as Lakshmi Aayi Hai and Amrita, which fetched several national and international awards. Also, she has made a wonderful documentation of the history of Indian animation and interviewed some of the veteran Indian animators. Thank you so much, Swati and Srivastava, for accepting our invitation. On behalf of SNIFI, I am so delighted to welcome you. Without further delay, let us get into the topic. Over to you, Swati.
Thank you, Sangeet, for the wonderful introduction. And I'm lucky that she is not here, so I got a chance to watch her film and review her film and talk about it. It's a very, very beautiful film. So we can start with the discussion.
Yes, we can. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So actually, I think seen this film before once, but that time maybe it was in a very bit. I was in a very bit hurry, so couldn't it wasn't that I couldn't watch it so engagingly. This time I saw it, and it's a very beautiful film. And because I myself made a film on folklore, and first of all, it's a very good initiative from you guys to to hold a festival which is based on folklore. I cannot even imagine that, to have all the films in collection of all the Indian as well as international films which are which tell the folk stories of various countries. So it's a very nice thing to happen. And about her film, it's because first of all, I didn't knew that there was a community like Mishmi community which she's talking about. So it was an eye opener for me also. And I didn't know that there was a community in Arunachal Pradesh, and who are a tribe who's working over these issues, and so bringing up this kind of story is itself a very good initiative from her side. So very much appreciation for that. Then about the story thing and the how she has went about it, what I also really is how she has shown the nature, human and animal interaction. So I have few points which I'll be talking about. So firstly is that human and animal interaction, so which is actually rooted in our culture. So we have in Indian, especially Indian culture, you already know how important the animals are being a part of our life and our culture also. Talking about today only, there is this Govardhan Puja, which is actually happening in our own house. So before doing any puja or anything, even the cow dung, which is the leftover, even that is worshipped. So forget about the animals, even their own things are very auspicious for us. So how she has brought upon that little things, the human animal interaction, plus addition to that, she has the protagonist is a child. So we all know how compassionate, compared to we grown up little children. I have seen my own kid, they are so much more compassionate and sensitive towards the nature. So that is a very good thing that she has brought upon. Okay, she has shown the film through the eye of a child. So how he is looking, how he is behaving. The older generation, obviously, they take everything to the very like either scientific or to a very like, matlab there is this information या वो सब चीजें or ritual based. But when we see how a child sees, it's purely like innocent and all very heart to heart connection is there. So I like that thing. Okay, she has chosen a child as a protagonist to depict because that has emoted the whole idea of the film. And as a filmmaker, I think she's successful if that emotion has been brought, whatever she wanted to, like the emotion that she wanted to convey. That is, if like clear, then it's like mission successful.
Yeah.
So that is one thing which I really appreciate.
So what do you think about, Srivastav, regarding?
Should we give a quick synopsis of the film for the people who may not have watched it, what the film is about? Also, it's available on the YouTube channel for Nifi, so please do watch it right now. And so about what Swati was saying, I love how the characters are designed for the film. It's the kid and the grandmother are. The first thing I noticed in the film is that there is an absence of the middle generation. I was talking to a batchmate of mine also about the film, and the middle generation, it's almost like she's saying these people the people in the middle, the parents, they might be too busy to identify or to practice the taboos that the film is talking about. It's a film on the taboo about taboos on taboos. So it's about the beliefs and narratives of the Indo-Mishmi people, the tribe from this Dibang Valley in Arunachal Pradesh, and how their stories, their taboos, and their superstitions, they help sustain respectful relationships with the animals around them almost. And Shipra also says this film was made to spark a conversation about human relationships with animals. And it's done so sensitively, and it's you can tell that Shipra has done considerable reading about and engagement with the community for the film to not be like an outsider's, a simplified perspective of an outsider about the deep-rooted beliefs of the tribal community. And about what you were saying about the child's perspective of the story being told through the child's perspective and being told very sensitively. There is this bit where Enjo, the child, he's almost afraid of retribution. And the grandma deeply notices his drawing book, and she asks him if he saw Amepa, the gibbon that these people have this belief about, that you're not supposed to go too close to it and you're not supposed to engage with it because of this myth that she then goes into. And as soon as she asks him that question, he takes a second to register it and then goes into this excitement. And immediately he's then saddened because she says, I told you not to go too close to it. And after that, the way that shot is constructed, she says, come close to me. The grandma notices that he is saddened by the retribution, and she says, come to me. I will tell you the story, the myth of our relationship with Amepa. And he goes around her, puts his hands over her shoulders, and because he knows that this is how she likes to tell stories. And it's also like a construct to go into her watch and his book, and it's very thoughtful the way each shot is constructed and the design of the film. And as a filmmaker, what do you think of, like, are you aware of the storytelling techniques while watching the film for the first time, or do you give yourself to the story? I want to know that about, like, your experience or your perception of the film.
About the storytelling.
About the techniques of like how each shot is constructed, how the design of the film is done, or how the characters are written.
What I really love about also the film and the whole thing is like the pacing of the film, how it was being paced. It's like a very slow and peaceful way. It also depicts the serenity of that place which they have brought in, the Arunachal and that area. So the whole pacing and timing of the complete storytelling is very nice. What do you think? Yeah.
The pacing comes through in the sound as well. The sound is beautifully designed. One thing I noticed is the film opens with machinery. The first 5 seconds we hear machinery, and then that fades into a Bollywood song.
And also,
Yeah, and then it comes back in the end.
it comes back because as she has very like subtly depicted those machinery again who are maybe cutting the trees or like taking away the trees, she is trying to depict that. So that machinery has been brought again. It's like very subtly shown, okay, what is being done. So that was very interesting to see.
Sound
And
seems to be really important in the film. Actually, the way the instrumentals are used to make the score of the film, and
Yeah.
the call of the gibbon. The first time we see the Hula gibbon, there's a motif that is almost like an ambulance or like an emergency, uh, or a police or an ambulance soundtrack, and then it fades into this motif of the gibbon of Amepa, and that comes back in the end. And the Amepa, apparently, I was reading about this because it would have been nice to have Shipra here to clarify these references.
We
But
wish.
apparently, this gibbon is called the songbird of the primates. It has a very distinctive, almost melancholic kind of
Okay.
sound.
Uh,
And that probably helps establish the pace of the film that you're seeing.
yeah. That was one thing. And plus, I think even the how simplistically she has shown like all the even the main characters plus the backgrounds. There is a very beautiful and catchy, like a painting kind of feel to the whole scene. So all the scenes are like very beautifully designed and very simplistic. So that is
So,
very nice to watch.
yeah, it's all like digitally painted. The backgrounds, the house, and the domesticated animals.
Yeah.
I
And
love how the
very
research
a
shows through it.
minimalistic way, like how the pigs were designed, very minimalistic way, not detail in it, but yeah, they'll do look like pigs. So, so that was
About the pigs, there's a beautiful relationship with the other characters and Enjo also.
how the character has been built very beautifully. How the little boy is like goofing around with the little pig, and so his innocence is also there, and his naughtiness is also there in that film. And somewhat you can also connect, like we all are same कि apes भी ऐसे ही full on like masti करते हैं, and that kid is also in that masti mood, and so that connection is somewhat also there. So yeah.
The child's inquisitiveness and all the other
Right.
cattle, the pigs, the cows, and the dogs around their house. All of them seem to have this playfulness of Enjo. And the relationship between the rest of the animals and Enjo and the rest of the animals and this community, that seems to be really important. And like any amount of research into the community, like will tell you how their relationship with the wildlife or the domesticated animals around them is very nuanced. And to simplify that into a small animated short,
Small film. That
that's
is
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's quite impactful. Like, and this kind of message is really important to tell, and especially it's a reminder for all of us, especially for the younger generations, okay, how badly we need to protect our forest. So yeah, so telling that thing is really important.
I also like another aspect of this film, that the way that story has been told using that black and white images, that the way that the grandmother has told that story, that was also another, it was really beautiful, which was very simple, which is like on a page, like on a white paper you are drawing something. It was like that only. So how do you think about that way of storytelling? What do you think about it, Swati?
Yeah, it is impactful in the sense, like, because she's telling it to the kid, so we are kind of seeing what he's imagining. So that way it was like quite impactful, and how the director has chosen that style for that particular moment. And especially also that clock, that watch, when she looks at the watch and how it goes back the time. And then again, when we see, oh, it's like the watch has stopped when at the end, when we see the gibbons are missing. And then like how it reflects ke, oh, मतलब जैसे समय रुक गया है. So it's like.
Why do you think that is? I couldn't quite place it. I watched it like a few times, and I have
I think
a few theories about that.
she was trying to say कि जैसे कि समय रुक गया है, समय रुक जाता है ना, तो the clock had stopped there. So it's like if we are losing our own wildlife and not protecting the nature, so it's like we are not moving ahead. I could feel that. I think she's trying to depict this, or it's how I have interpreted it. So it's like that. Okay, how are we moving ahead? Like we cannot go na आगे के अगर nature ही साथ में नहीं है. So
I was also thinking hold our stories, because it's our superstitions and our taboos. And Shipra, I read or somewhere that she was what drew her to this story, and this is a friend of hers who introduced her to this idea, and then she did a lot of reading and visited the community and spoke to them. And what the juxtaposition of this perception that we have superstitions and taboos that are regressive and that we need to let go of to become a more developed, more open, more progressive society that every community can get to. And the contrast between that and how those superstitions and those taboos, where they come from and how they can help sustain and conserve wildlife around, and that those they can help build respectful relationships and healthy relationships with the life around them. And that contrast, that is what she said drew her to the story, and what made her want to tell the story, want to make this film. And maybe the time thing, I was thinking, when it stops in the end, it's almost like she's saying, let's hold these stories, let's stop and listen to these stories, and let's hold them in us for a while, and let's not run away from them. Let's not keep going mindlessly. Our stories, our language, all of these are erased.
Yeah. This could also be like another very nice perspective of the film. Yeah. So it's nice how we all interpret things and how we all take
But that's
it.
interesting about the medium thing that you were saying. When she goes into the story, it goes black and white, like Sangeet was also saying. It almost becomes like a child's drawing on a piece of paper. The first time it was a little jarring for me, because it's going from beautiful backgrounds and beautiful color to just black on pure white. But that sort of makes sense.
That sort of makes sense.
The story that
Plus,
grandma.
because it's all she's telling a very like from her tradition and how it goes on, and because she's talking about that also, so that's another thing.
There's so much sensitivity in the little detail in this film. There is the relationship and the conversation between those two.
Yeah, it's a very, very like thoughtful film, and so like it's like depicted as we like it's जैसे कुछ करा ही नहीं ऐसे वाला, कुछ किया ही नहीं पर सब कुछ कह दिया. So it's that thoughtful and like deep, and when you look at it, it seems to be very simple. Yeah. So that is the beauty of this film.
Yeah,
there was a thing that I noticed within that story, when grandma says, "Come to me, I will tell you why this is, why our relationship with the Amepa is like this." And he goes behind her, and she goes into that, and she says, Nani, the mother of all creation, made man and tiger and Amepa as brothers, and we're all family. And then there is another spirit that enters into that story, who draws eyebrows on Amepa.
Yeah.
That was
I didn't get it. What was that?
I am also not sure. We'll have to speak to Shipra about that. But I was thinking it's a beautiful idea too, and to like she's almost adding something really profound into a simple direct narrative. I thought it was the eyebrows thing was because that is the part of our anatomy that is the most associated with communication, with expression. Like that is how we understand each other, read each other's faces, and connect with each other. And the spirit is maybe like personifying Amepa, and that is like giving us an image of Amepa that we can connect with and
The
develop a
connection.
respectful.
Yeah. So there are so many little metaphors that
Hmm.
it's been added to the film. That's
Hmm.
what I'm saying. Overall, it looks very simple sa film hai, but it's quite like being given a very well thought, and then so that's nice.
Also, I wanted to ask you, like, because I get a chance to talk to a filmmaker, an accomplished filmmaker, about stories. So Shipra, I read that she came across this story. And then she developed a connection with the community and wanted to tell the story because of what she found.
Yeah.
How do you go about writing or coming up with stories that are personal to you? Or is your process similar? Do you also find stories and then develop connection? Or
I have worked on different films, so my technique has been shifted from one film to another. But majorly, it's more of like human relationships, and one of them was between human-animal relationship. So Amrita was a folk tale itself, so that was picked up. Like the story was picked up, and then we had like fictionalized it and thought about it and imagined more things to add into it. But generally, even what technique that I use for storytelling is like I also interact with a lot of people, and then what do they think, what are their beliefs, what are their ideas, and what are their experiences majorly. So because I have not myself experienced so much in my life, so I take out like I talk to my friends or my colleagues, and then I like beat them all together to make up a story. So that was how Lakshmi Ai Hai and Gajar Ka Halwa was done. So I was talking to a lot of friends and their interaction with their grandparents, plus my own experiences with my own grandparents. So connecting all of them together is what it's what I feel like doing, and I like this way of like writing a story. So yeah, that was this.
Yeah, so I think it was a wonderful discussion. So shall we wind up the discussion? Or do we have something more to discuss? Srivastava, Swati, if you have, you can continue. Otherwise, we can wind up.
I think what do you think, Srivastav?
I found this thing. I was reading about this film because I felt so disconnected with the culture. I wanted to know so much more about the Indo-Mishmi people, like you were saying. And I was reading like that this film is all the more important now because there's a project there. There's Dibang Valley is where the film is located, and that is where the Indo-Mishmi people belong. And there's a large dam being planned for construction there, and it's like a 278-meter tall dam on the Dibang tributary of Brahmaputra, and it is going to become India's largest hydropower venture, and it's going to become the world's largest concrete gravity dam, and which of course will displace thousands of people and severely disturb the ecosystem of the valley. So this film is all the more timely and important. And we'll probably have to take a more like a nuanced, more complex look at the issue. But I think it's a brilliant and a necessary story to tell. And well done,
Of course, yeah, because if you look at most of the films which you have, showcased here in NIFI also, most of the films talk about, this kind of, issues with due to the rehabilitation program. So it is so sad to see that like the Amepa or the Indo-Mishmi tribe, which we have discussed through this nice, beautiful animation. So it's so sad to hear that in future, even this Amepa or, this tribe will get displaced. So it's so nice that like, you brought this idea into this discussion, Srivastava. Yeah. So yeah, it was a wonderful discussion. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And
I think it's a like big congratulations to Shipra for like her film. We are glad we are watching her film. So for
Yes,
making this film, we are very thankful to her to bring forward such an issue, and like so that we can see and maybe at least get more sensitive towards it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So those who have not watched the film, I urge you to go and watch the film which talks about the stories of Idumishmi tribe and of Amepa. So on behalf of MIFI, I thank Swati, Srivastav, and all our audience who participated in this discussion. So we are signing out today. Please tune to our Facebook channel. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sangeet.